It's Thursday, March 7. In the headlines in local news, government to ensure greater spend from capital budget. Legal information portal to be developed. In business news, Jamaica Stock Exchange has officially launched its research competition for the 2023-2024 season. Regionally, CARICOM chair presses Haitian stakeholders for consensus to return stability. And in sports, ISA to boost team of champs officials with international additions. This is the news on PBC Jamaica. I'm Brittany Clark. The government will be implementing measures to ensure greater spend from the capital expenditure in the upcoming fiscal year. This from Minister of Finance and the Public Service, Dr. Nigel Clark, during his address at the sitting of the Standing Finance Committee of the House of Representatives on Tuesday. Danita Rodney has the details.
In responding to a question posed about what the government will do differently to manage the spending of the capital budget, Minister of Finance and the Public Service, Dr. Nigel Clark, said there were challenges and some projects fell behind in the 2023-2024 fiscal year due to procurement failures.
For this fiscal year 23-24, the projects that fell behind, as I have discussed with you before in this House, primarily related to one, procurement failures, not on the side of the government, but on the side of private sector entities selected through a procurement process, being in a position where they're unable to fulfill their obligation. Unable to fulfill in a couple of cases because they have not been able to post the bonds that are required, which means we have to do the procurement all over.
Minister Clark says that in addition to making changes to the procurement processes, the government will try to have more projects available than budgeted.
In addition to some changes that we'll make in some of the procurement processes, but I think the fundamental difference is going to be to try to be in a position where we have more projects available than budgeted capacity, so that if something is falling behind, we can rotate to something else. We'll obviously be clear with those projects that it doesn't mean that this is going through this year, but we have some backups.
Also noted that capital expenditure and public investment have the capacity to improve the quality of life for Jamaicans.
It's very important to me for the country. The country, there's nothing that has the capacity to improve quality of life like capital expenditure and public investment. And so the country runs the risk of falling behind if we cannot grow and execute on our capex at a required rate.
Reporting for the news on PBCJ, I'm Danita Rodney.
Minister with responsibility for gender, Olivia Grange, says the protection and advancement of women and girls continue to be a priority in Jamaica. She shared some of the ways in which this is being carried out while addressing attendance of International Women's Day, IWD, commemorative church service on Sunday. More in this report.
March 8 will be celebrated as International Women's Day. In Jamaica, the celebration started last Sunday with commemorative church service at the Gregory Park Baptist Church in St. Catherine. In her greetings, Minister of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport, Olivia Grange, said the ministry's work is guided by a legislative framework which includes enabling policy agenda to provide protection and support for women and girls.
We have implemented the national policy for gender equality, the Sexual Harassment Protection and Prevention Act of 2021, the Domestic Violence Amendment Act of 2023, and the National Strategic Action Plan to eliminate gender-based violence in Jamaica.
On the matter of gender equality, Minister Grange notes the establishment of a policy to ensure the composition of all government boards has a minimum of 30% representation of either women or men. to balance the scale.
The rise of women in leadership positions is ample evidence of the achievements gained over several decades and serves as an example of what is possible when we support and encourage our women.
Minister Grange maintained that investing in women and girls is non-negotiable.
The investment fosters social policy development, extensive research and sensitization, and awareness raising on a vast array of gender-specific issues for mentorship, coaching, and capacity building.
This year, the local IWD theme is Investing in Women and Girls in Leadership to Accelerate Gender Equality, Equity, and Socioeconomic Empowerment. For the news on PBCJ, I'm Simone Absalom Gale.
Plans are in place to develop a legal information portal. A European firm, SoftNG, has been contracted to develop the application. Minister of Legal and Constitutional Affairs, Mrs. Marlene Malahoo Fort, says the portal is intended to improve public access to Jamaica's laws, educate the public about all aspects of legal information. She made the disclosure during Tuesday's meeting of the Standing Finance Committee.
And the aim of this portal is to improve public access to the laws of Jamaica, educate the public about all aspects of legal information, and provide a facility for the public to express views on and query the status of any law. The portal will provide advanced search functionality and expanded availability of laws in various forms, with a particular focus on access to the Jamaica Gazette publications, as well as content giving notification of various seminal, judicial, and legislative developments.
The portal's development will cost US $197,000.
The contract, which is valued at just over US $197,000, was awarded to the European firm SoftNG. The firm is ranked in the top 100 of the world's information technology outsourcing service providers by the International Association of Outsourcing Professionals.
Work on the portal commenced on February 19, 2024, and is expected to be completed by February 2025. She says a project team and ICT equipment will be required to ensure seamless transition and implementation of the system.
The establishment of a project team is required to ensure seamless transition and implementation of the system. And the proposal in this regard is for the team to be comprised of 4 officers whose services would be contracted for 2 years. And the team would comprise a project manager, an ICT specialist, content production officer, records officer. The project cost is estimated at about $30 million, with 7.7 of that sum to be used to procure ITC equipment during the upcoming financial year.
According to Minister Malahoo Fort, funding is being provided by the World Bank under its Foundations for Competitiveness and Growth project, FCGP. The public is being invited to nominate community volunteers for the 2024 Governor General Achievement Award, GGAA. Persons nominated for the prestigious award must satisfy the following criteria: be a Jamaican citizen, fall in the following age categories of 18 to 24 years, 25 to 35 years, or over 35 years. Individuals in the 35 and over age group must have an outstanding and verifiable record of community service, and candidates in the 18 to 35 years category must demonstrate excellent academic performance. Project Officer for the Governor General's Program for Excellence, GGPE, Patrina Stewart, says nominations must be done via King's House website at www.kingshouse.gov.jm. The window for nomination will close on March 30. Recipients will receive their awards from the Governor General, His Excellency, the Most Honorable Sir Patrick Allen, and parish custodies at the ceremony to be held at King's House. Time now for the Business Report with Denise Williams.
Good day, everyone, and thank you for joining us on the Business Report. I'm Denise Williams, your guide through the latest happenings in the world of business. The Jamaica Stock Exchange has officially launched its research competition for the 2023-2024 season, inviting participants to showcase their analytical prowess for a chance to secure prizes of up to 500,000 Jamaican dollars. To foster talent and innovation in the financial sector, the JSC is calling upon analysts, tertiary institution students, researchers, and media personnel to test their mettle in the world of market analysis and research. Over the years, the JSC Research Competition has served as a launchpad for individuals who have gone on to achieve notable career advancements, including promotions to managerial, vice presidential, and even CEO roles. Entries for the competition are expected to adhere to specific guidelines set by the Stock Exchange. All submissions must be received on or before the due date of April 12 to be considered for evaluation. Investment firm First Rock reported a 92% decrease in property income, totaling US $543,052 for 2023, compared to US $6.71 million in the corresponding period last year. Property loss for the first quarter closed at US $3.46 million, compared to property income of US $455,933 for the comparable quarter of 2022. As a result, net investment loss for the year ended December 31, 2023 amounted to US $2.01 million relative to net investment income of US $2.63 million in 2022. However, the company has consistently paid dividends up until last year, and the company remains confident that this negative trend will be reversed once interest rates begin to decline. First Rock is committed to continuing its portfolio rebalancing strategy by disposing of variable income and underperforming residential and commercial properties and acquiring fixed income commercial properties with strong tenants, such as KFC acquisitions in Costa Rica. During trading on March 6, 2024, the top advancing stocks covered the technology, automobile distribution, and finance sectors on the Jamaica Stock Exchange. T-Tech Limited shares advanced 24.5% for a 49-cent price increase to close at $2.49 with 50,000 shares traded. JetCon Corporation Limited shares advanced 15.29% for 13-cent price jump to close at 98 cents with 2,235 shares traded. Epley Limited shares advanced 15.03% for a $5.14 upward price shift to close at $39.34 with 100 shares traded. On the declining stocks that traders experienced on March 6, 2024, the top three losers covered the energy and finance sectors. MPC Caribbean Clean Energy Limited, JMD, declined by 21.73% for a $23.90 price drop to close at $86.10 with 25 shares traded. Mayberry Jamaican Equities Limited declined by 12.49% for a $1.36 downward shift in price to close at $9.53 with 15,413 shares traded. Sterling Investments Limited, JMD, shares declined by 11.76% for a 30 cents decline in price to close at $2.29 $1.25 with 19,006 shares traded. Over on the Twin Island Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, trading activity on the stock exchange for March 6, 2024 on the first tier market registered a volume of 213,794 shares, crossing the floor of the exchange valued at Trinidad and Tobago $4,968,552.30. Massey Holdings was the volume leader with 89,822 shares changing hands for a value of Trinidad and Tobago $389,817.79, followed by Trinidad and Tobago NGL Limited with a volume of 24,530 shares being traded for a value of Trinidad and Tobago $220,770. Moving from the money moves of investors, executives, and companies, we turn to the Forex market. On March 6, 2024, the Bank of Jamaica reported that US $0.5 million was bought from Forex traders, while US $17.5 million was sold to Forex traders. Buying directly from the Bank of Jamaica, foreign currency traders sold the US dollar for $156.70 and bought US dollars for $154.90. The difference between the buy and sell rate was $1.80, which represents a profit for Forex traders for every US dollar traded. Canadian Forex traders earned a trading profit of 75 cents from transactions with the Bank of Jamaica. The Canadian dollar was sold at $115.96 and bought for $115.21. For traders looking at the British pound, they pocketed a profit of $8.42, selling it for $202.35 and buying it for $193.93. For the credit report tip of the day, when thinking about buying a vehicle, boost your chances of securing financing by offering a larger down payment. A substantial initial payment reduces the lender's risk and may make them more inclined to approve your loan despite your credit score. And with that, we wrap up today's business report. I'm Denise Williams. Appreciate your company. Stay well informed, stay ahead of the curve. Until our next update, take care.
In regional news, civil war was threatened if Haiti's Prime Minister Ariel Henry does not step down. The Caribbean community CARICOM is not taking these threats lightly and following a jailbreak at the weekend where hundreds of prisoners were freed, giving rise to increased street violence. CARICOM leaders have been locked in meetings with stakeholders in Port-au-Prince seeking a consensus. But after 3 days and many meetings, CARICOM chairman and president of Guyana, Dr. Irfan Ali, said the government, opposition, private sector, civil society, and religious organizations have not been able to rise above the complexity of the situation. The price for failing to reach a compromise and reach it fast could be devastating for Haiti and the region.
As chairman of the Caribbean community, I wish to give the following update in relation to our meetings with Haitian stakeholders. We have been working on this around the clock for the last 3 days. And in spite of many, many meetings, we have not yet been able to reach any form of consensus between the government and the respective stakeholders in the opposition, the private sector, civil society, and religious organizations. The situation is complex with many moving parts. It is compounded by the absence of key institutions functioning, such as the presidency and the parliament. This is further undermined by the outbreaks of violence and the lack of humanitarian aid. We've been urging all Haitian stakeholders in the urgent need for a consensus, given that they all agree that the solution must be Haitian-led and Haitian-owned. Consensus and getting a consensus is therefore of paramount importance. recognize that there must be a political solution to anchor any stabilization of the security and humanitarian efforts. The fact that more people have died in Haiti in the early part of this year than in Ukraine must give everyone in Haiti and in the international community serious pause. This matter goes to the UN Security Council today in closed session. It is clear that Haiti, even with a homegrown solution, will need the support of not just CARICOM, but the international community. But to get there, we must have consensus among the key players in Haiti. They're all aware of the price of failure. Our meetings continue today with all concerned. We'll continue to provide updates to the community and to the people of Haiti. We in CARICOM are fully committed to utilizing all our efforts and all our energies are dedicated as a collective on this pressing matter of Haiti.
Small island developing states are facing challenges in the race to achieving the Sustainable Development Goals. The revelation was made by Barbados Minister of State in the Prime Minister's office, Dr. Chantal Monroe-Knight, as she addressed the annual coordination meeting for the United Nations Multi-Country Sustainable Development Cooperation Framework. More from CBC News.
Minister Monroe-Knight told the gathering that the meeting is taking place at an important time when many things are happening. She said different circumstances are coming together, creating a defining moment which could bring about changes which need to be confronted.
The statistics suggest that a recent study on the progress of the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals done by ECLAC says to us that only 25% of the SDG targets for which data is available are on track to be met by 2030. About half of the targets, 48%, are moving in the right direction, but not at a sufficient pace to reach the finish line by 2030. And alarmingly, 27% of the targets are going in reversal or show no change at all.
According to Minister Monroe-Knight, a scaling up of the island's sustainable development goals is needed, and this meeting is timely.
Barbados has, in 2023, completed our voluntary national review. And one of the key findings of that was that as a government, we have done quite well in the context of our implementation. Many of our sustainable development targets are on track. We have, I think, approximately about 48% are on track to be achieved by 2030. But that there is a challenge to make sure that we continue to ground our policies directly, one, within communities that need them the most, and that we are able to address the real needs and concerns of the most vulnerable. And I say that very honestly and openly.
The United Nations Resident Coordinator for Barbados and the Eastern Caribbean, Didier Trebec, admitted that an acceleration of the efforts towards the 2030 goals is needed and gave notice that an increase in funding is in the offing.
Last year, in the similar ACM that we did online, there was also a very strong call from member states to intensify the support from the United Nations on financing for development. Because we all know that it's key. It's a key enabler for sustainable development. So we really took your message at heart, and we have worked together as a whole UN development system to really solidify this UN offer.
Following the recent mission of a team from the International Monetary Fund, IMF, a staff concluding statement of the 2024 Article 4 mission to St. Kitts and Nevis was issued with evaluations and projections of the Federation's economy and fiscal performance.
According to the staff statement, the federal government ended fiscal year 2023 with a surplus as a result of, quote, fiscal prudence and the outperformance of the Citizenship by Investment program, end quote. The IMF document indicates that while the general outlook is positive for St. Kitts and Nevis, there are important risks ahead related to possible natural disasters, unfavorable external factors that could affect the Federation, as well as reduce revenue from the Citizenship by Investment program. The statement indicates that renewable energy projects could help drive growth in the medium term, with 2024 growth projection aimed at 4.7%. Tourism and the acceleration in housing and public infrastructure projects execution will be supportive of the expected growth, with the expectation that the country's GDP would return to pre-pandemic levels in 2024. The IMF staff statement called for increased transparency and accountability of the Citizenship by Investment program by publishing an annual financial report on the CBI unit's operations and key data on applications. The concluding statement also recommends tightened fiscal management, a balanced budget over the medium term, tax policy reform at multiple levels, the upgrading of infrastructure to boost natural disaster resilience, and improvements in debt and cash management. Glenn Bart reporting for SK Newsline.
In sports, Keith Wellington, president of the Inter-Secondary School Sports Association, ISSA, says 2 international track and field officials have been added to this year's staging of the ISSA Boys and Girls Championships to boost the cadre of officials for the 5-day event. Wellington believes that the inclusion of an international start referee and the addition of an international official to the jury of appeal will not only add significant credibility to these areas, but enhance the already significant reputation of champs as a meet of the highest international quality. Wellington pointed out that his organization is also expecting a very exciting 5 days of track and field, and that patrons will be dazzled not only by performances of our athletes, but also experience pulsating entertainment off the track. The International Cricket Council has announced the continuation of its long-term partnership with ESPN. The deal will take ICC global events to fans across 51 territories in the Caribbean and Latin America, ahead of an exciting year in the region with the upcoming Men's T20 World Cup. Joel Rain reports.
The broadcast and digital deal includes the next 8 years of rights for all matches of the 12 men's senior events and 4 under-19 men's events up until the end of 2031. The first senior men's competition as part of the agreement will kick off with this summer's T20 World Cup, which will be co-hosted by West Indies and the USA between June 1st and 29th. The partnership up until the end of 2027 will also include all matches of the 4 women's and 2 under-19 women's tournaments. This agreement marks a new chapter in ICC's relationship with ESPN, which began in 2012, representing the first direct deal between the 2 organizations. Fans across 33 territories will be able to watch event coverage via ESPN Caribbean and ESPN2 Caribbean on television and on digital streaming platform ESPN Play Caribbean. In another 18 countries across Latin America, ICC Cricket will be available through ESPN on the Star Plus streaming platform. Joel Rain, ABS Sports.
And that's the news on PBCJ. You can follow us on our social media platforms at PBCJamaica. Thanks for watching.